Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Yo Ran Alive from Bucharest, Romania, from the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, in which I'm currently housed at the -1 floor at Radio Shalom, Romania. So today evening, I have a very good friend of mine, which we have not been speaking for a lot of years. Both went in different directions, obviously. He has still stayed in Mumbai. He's gone a long way. And I am, as you know, I'm in Romania. And going through the posts, I said I must definitely get him on. Through the college days, as I came to know him, Abhijeet Kini, who is an illustrator, animator, and a comics publisher. So Abhijeet Kini is the founder of Abhijeet Kini Studios, Mumbai-based illustrator, as I said, animator, and independent comics publisher, known for his comic series Angry Maushi, Rhyme Fighters and Fanboys, winner of the Best Illustrator Awards Bronze for 2018-2019. Way to go, brother. At the Comic Con India Awards, Abhijeet has been a regular participant in all the Indian Comic Cons and has also participated in international editions. There you go, man. He started off with freelancing and as a cartoonist, and writer for Midday Multimedia. So Midday is a very famous newspaper in Mumbai, I think all around India as well. And I will get Abhijeet to talk in a few minutes about all of this. And so he has been a cartoonist and writer for Midday Multimedia in the year 2000 while he in his first year, he was doing his first year of BMM degree. All along with cartooning for magazines and newspapers like Times Group, Hindustan Times, Times Out Mumbai, Times Out Delhi, National Geographic Traveler, Verve, is that right? I think.
Verve.
Verve. Abhijeet is correcting me. Verve. Properly. Imbecile. And at the like of over 2 decades, he has been a regular illustrator with Tinkle Comics, very famous local comic magazine in India, since 2004. Side by side his artwork, he also runs a merchandise line called as Kini Studios together with his loving wife, featuring his artworks. Abhijeet has been conducting workshops across all age groups on ideation, creative writing, drawing, and comic making. He is also a visiting faculty at some of the leading colleges in Mumbai. Abhijeet ran a monthly column called kinesthesia, if I'm saying that correct, kinesthesia.
Yeah, that's right.
Kinesthesia. In the newspaper, Sakal Times, talking about pop culture, comics, and other similar topics. Abhijeet, I'm overwhelmed just reading this, man. I mean, it also shows that I need to read an intro before I really go on air. So I apologize. But listen, buddy, it's so good to have you on the broadcast. How are you doing today?
Good, man, Yoran. It's so awesome to connect after so many years. I think it's been a good 17 years since we actually used to interact in college. Time has definitely flown by, and thanks to social media, we could reconnect. And it's amazing what you are up to with all these, these broadcasts and these episodes that you're doing. Been keenly following them as well, and I'm really, really happy to be part of this today. So thank you for having me over.
Abhijeet, I'm really glad. I almost forgot. And if Sophia is listening in, I forgot to get a pen and paper, and I think I should have a pen and paper, so I should write this to her. But forgive me if I get on the phone and to write to her. But Abhijeet, I remember that when we first met off at in National College, and the most amazing thing I remember was during the classroom on the ground floor. When you come out from the classroom, the
Yep.
whole wall on both
Yeah.
sides, it had a curved wall. If I'm not making a mistake,
Yeah.
completely painted with artwork done by you. That was
Yes.
amazing. So tell us a little bit about this journey, about how it all began, and where are you today?
So I was always into comics, cartoons, and animations right since childhood. I grew up on a lot of comics. My parents gifted me comics for every occasion, like birthday, or finishing exams, results, whatever it might be. It was always comics.
Okay.
So my exposure to comics and animation was very very early on, and I think I was very interested in the entire visual medium. Drawing
Mm-hmm.
panels, having these characters with speech bubbles, colorful superheroes, etc., etc. So I think from a very young age I wanted to get into comics and animation and the like. And it so happened that I had the encouragement from home. I could pursue what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I started freelancing at a very young age. I started freelancing while we were in college itself, so that helped me build my portfolio. And I think over the years, it's just been a thing about being at the right place at the right time, networking very well, and sending out your work to the right places. So I think that's all worked out very well.
Okay. So Abhijit, before I continue, I know initially I was telling you that about the light, but I think you can sit back a little so you are a little bit in focus. Don't worry. You're quite close, so you're okay. This is good as well. So we are seeing you pretty nicely with a beautiful smile. Fantastic, man. So I was wanting to know, how did you come up with the concept, or even before I get into the concept of coming into Angry Maushi? How did that come into be? And just that people know, I mean, maybe you want to say to the English speakers, what is Maushi?
So Maushi is Marathi. Marathi is a local language here in Mumbai. Maushi is an auntie. Any stranger, any woman you would meet on the street, you would just affectionately call her Maushi. And Angry Maushi is a very very angry Mumbai auntie who's on the rampage. Trying to
Uh-huh.
defeat evil and defeat beat up all the evil politicians and evildoers in society, etc., etc. So it's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
socio-political satire, and it's an adult comic.
So
It's good.
okay, go on, go on.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of these small tongue-in-cheek references to real, real happenings, real news, real personalities, etc., etc.
Are you still doing the series on Angry Maushi, by the way?
Yeah, I just released the fourth part. In fact, it doesn't have a periodicity. I just come up with
Mm-hmm.
a comic every. I mean, I try to do it every year till about 2014ish, and after
Okay.
which we were selling reprints and the collected edition. And then the fourth part was released earlier this year in February, when there was a Comic Con in Ahmedabad, the city of Ahmedabad in Gujarat, India.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although I just keep saying that in 2020 it's very hard to believe that there was actually an event and we actually traveled and there were people, there were crowds, going by what's been happening right now. But yeah, there was a Comic Con
Mm-hmm.
earlier this year, and that's when I released the fourth part.
So my point to ask you here is, are you just dealing with the comics part of it, or like the sketching, which obviously you are, but what about the concept? What about the story? What about everything else that comes behind it? Who is anybody helping you there with that?
So what happens is so I and my wife Diksha, we brainstorm. So in a couple of comics, she does have a writing byline. Otherwise, majority of these comics that I've come up with, I do the writing myself. But for Tinkle and commissioned comics like those, there are script writers that they have and they send the scripts across to me, and I have to convert that into art. Angry Maushi,
Oh,
Fanboys, Rhyme Fighters are our own published comics. So then we have full writing and art license on it. So majority of these are mine, and Diksha does write a few of them as well.
I see, I see. Amazing, amazing. So are you still doing, so you told me you're doing Angry Maushi, you're also doing Rhyme Fighters and Fanboys as well?
Yep.
Are you still continuing with that?
So,
Okay,
so,
okay.
so rhyme fighters is an ongoing thing. I mean, right now I've not come up with any new rhyme fighters as yet. It's a comic based on a rhyme format, where
Mm-hmm.
the entire storyline is written in rhymes. I have a good time writing rhymes, and they are based on everyday people in the city of Mumbai. So your traffic cop, the Panwala.
Uh-huh.
There are various such characters that you come
Oh,
across on
wow.
a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and the comic focuses on these people, and that's why
Oh,
they're called like super. They're superheroes. So I just thought like crime fighters. So change
right.
crime to rhyme. So rhyme fighter.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. That's really cool. And tell me something more about Fanboys.
Fanboys is about pop culture. It's a spoof on pop culture. It's about three comic fans who want to get to a comic con, but a supernatural force is trying to stop them. So
Mm-hmm.
how do they get to the Comic Con, or what do they do? What are the characters they come across? That's the overall concept of Fanboys. And launching these at Comic Con, we get a good response because it's about Comic Con. It's about the whole culture of Comic Con. So that's Fanboys.
I see. Okay. Okay. So, Abhijit, I understand that you started off quite young with the sketching, and and which is really great. And even greater than that is the support that you had from your family.
Absolutely.
I think that that plays a very big role. Besides parents, Abhijit, was there anybody that you idealized or you looked up to or motivated you, inspired you? Uh, to do this full time.
See, I mean, I personally didn't know anyone who was a full time comic artist till we could take this up as a career option.
Mm-hmm.
So it was genuinely a thing wherein I I wanted to do this because this is what I was passionate about. Uh, yes, I had idols. I mean, I used to follow Mad Magazine a lot. So I had artists from
Oh,
Mad Magazine.
I used to
I
go
used to
crazy
love.
about that. Oh
Exactly. So
my
I used to follow a lot of these artists. So Sergio Aragones, Don Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Back home, the Tinkle artists. Tinkle played a huge role in shaping up my ambitions, I guess, because that was the only big Indian comic that we had in India, and we had Supandi, Shikari, Shambhu, all these characters. So
Mm-hmm.
artists also, from Tinkle like Ram Vairkar, Savio Mascarenas, who's right now the art director, and I actually report to him. Um,
Is Savio
Sanjeev
from
Vairkar,
Stanislaus?
all these people. No,
All these
I don't
people,
think
son.
so. Savio
Oh,
Mascarenas. Yeah, no.
okay, okay. He
so
sounds
so
very
these so
Stanislaus.
these
Yeah.
so
Okay.
these so these are the artists that I followed and I got inspired by, and
Mm-hmm.
I always had the ambition to draw for Tinkle, and that finally happened 2004 onwards. In fact,
Since
a short
mm-hmm.
story here that
Please.
in 97, I think, when I was in school, my mom took me to meet the editor back then, the late great Uncle Pai, just to show him my sketches because I was so crazy about Tinkle and I used to sketch comics. I was, again, I was in school, and Uncle Pai was nice enough to give me his script to draw, and he said, just knock yourself out. I drew
Wow.
a little comic and I sent it to them, and they said, okay, you know what, they're nice, but then you're in school, so you got to be prepared, you got to be all trained and polished, etc., etc. Then
Yeah.
cut to 2004, I went back again with a portfolio and I said, hey, you know what? I came back after
पढ़ाई हो गया
7
मेरा.
or 8 years.
Now take my comics. Now what?
So, yeah, that's when I started.
But I totally I totally appreciate that even our elders, at that time, even though you are is that somebody is interested to do something different, they still encourage and they're still very keen that you must finish your education. So I think that
Yeah.
is important, otherwise people,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
never know, what if
absolutely.
you would have wanted to do something else altogether? I mean,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. Education is something that one needs to finish and then pursue all these offbeat careers or whatever it might be,
Mhm.
because there always has to be a fallback. There has to be a fallback.
Did you ever think about yourself as, what if this doesn't take off? What do I do then?
Actually, call it crazy teenage hormones raging,
Right.
whatever. I really did not worry too much about these things back then. But
Uh-huh.
looking back today, I actually feel, what if it didn't work out? What would I have done? But then I had another backup option. I've always wanted to become a chef as well.
I see.
So maybe you would have seen me cooking up some
Fantastic. So your wife is blessed with a full stomach and hearty laughs from you with your
Yes,
comics.
yes, yes,
What
yes,
more
yes,
could
yes.
a woman want in a man, right? So if I am wrong, women out there, please write in and tell me what's missing or what Abhijit could do better to impress his wife. Yeah, what do you think about that? So, guys, I'm with Abhijit Kini on my 144th episode broadcast from Your Ran Alive. If you have any kind of questions that you would like to ask him, approach him, queries, definitely write it in. He's tagged on the video. The video or the broadcast will stay on the page even after the live is over. So don't worry about that. You can always write in something, and I will see that the question goes and is passed on to Abhijit as well. So be there. Abhijit, I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you remember Lakshman, R.K. Lakshman from Times of India, which
Yes,
is
yes,
another
yes. Of
big
course, of course.
newspaper. Did you get to see him? Did you get to meet him? The one behind?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately, no. Okay.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, not. In fact, I followed his work plus Mario Miranda's work as well. These two artists I could not, meet or interact with.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Miranda and both are no more. Mario Miranda, of course, is a legend in his own right with the kind of work he's done. And R.K.
Mm-hmm.
Lakshman, of course, everyone knows who R.K. Lakshman is and the kind of political cartoons he's done. So I've
Right.
not been able to meet both, but the kind of legacy that they have left behind is amazing.
Okay. So with all that you mentioned and with the fantastic intro that I had, thanks to you, of course, Times Group, Hindustan Times, Times Out, all these newspapers, and with every other thing that you have published, what would you say is been the biggest achievement for you till now?
I think publishing my own comics, independent comics, that's a different feeling altogether because you're taking
Mm-hmm.
a plunge, you are pumping in all your efforts, you're putting in the money, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the retailing, everything. I mean, it's your baby.
Right.
So that is a bigger challenge than anything else. And of course, drawing for Tinkle was a big thing for me, a childhood dream come true. So basically, the comics, Tinkle as well as my own comics, these two are the things I'm really proud of.
Tell me, since which age did you want to be a sketcher or a comic artist for Tinkle?
Ever since I remember, ever since I remember,
Wow. As a
maybe
child, like as a kid,
four,
yeah?
yeah, 4 or 5
Wow.
maybe.
Wow. So perseverance, people, perseverance. Fantastic, Abhijit. I know that you want a section where we will actually get Abhijit to help us put our pens to paper and see how we can get those emotions flowing through our hands, from our brain through our hands to the paper. But before we get there, I would want to touch a little another part of Abhijit's creation, and which is his studio. So this was, I think, one of the, according to me, a very courageous and a completely different direction of a step that you took on making your own um, artifacts. Would that be the right word if I'm saying that?
Yeah,
So tell me how
merchandise
that
and
came upon. And
merchandise.
what
Yeah.
did you say?
you
Sorry, I
you
missed
you've
out.
seen the merchandise and the idols and the
Yes,
figurines.
exactly. And
Yes,
they
yes.
look so local, man. That's like absolutely mind-boggling. So tell me a little bit about that. How did those characters, how did you choose those characters, and which set of characters are these? From the rhyme team? From the rhyme, what do you
Yeah,
call it?
they're mostly from the
That's right.
rhyme. They're mostly from they're mostly from the rhyme fighters. They're based on the comic characters.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is my wife Diksha, she handles the merchandise, and we have a good collection of merchandise that we've built up over the last 8-9 years now. And
Mm-hmm.
these figurines were something that we had our thoughts on for a long time. Uh,
Okay.
these are hand sculpted and clay made. Okay, these are not
Are you
plastic or anything.
serious?
They're clay. They're 100% clay, and
Oh,
they're sculpted by a non-profit, an NGO very close by here, and it's called Kuprakabi, and they actually employ people who are in need, and they train them to sculpt, and they train them to work on clay and sculptures. And what happens is, when we give them the artworks, they do the sculpts, we approve it, and so it's like a combined effort with us and Cooper Cubby. So
Absolutely
so
amazing.
so that's how the idols, that's how the figurines came about. And of course, we have a lot of other, Indian, very desi content in merchandise like coasters, fridge magnets,
Yep.
stickers, a whole lot. And that's what Diksha handles. I do the art, she does the merchandising and the marketing, production, etc.
Uh-huh.
And we do this for brands as well. We do this for a lot of brands. We do this for hotels. We do this for restaurants. A lot of corporates, like corporate gifting, etc., etc. So there's a lot
Right.
of work in that.
Okay, I completely forgot, but would you want to share some of this work? Can you do a share screen?
Oh
Is it
yeah.
possible? I didn't ask you about this. We did talk about it,
No.
but
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
this moment, let
No.
me
No.
know if you.
Let me just. I'll just open my website. I think
Yeah, sure, sure.
that'll be the easiest way to show some of the works that we
Definitely.
have.
So,
Just hold a second.
audience, we are with Abhijeet Kini, illustrator, comic, independent comic illustrator, writer. I'm not sure if it's. Do you also do writing work, by the way?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So I was right in what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, you need to
So
allow
yeah,
screen sharing.
yes, I think you can.
Yeah. Not yet.
Not yet.
Just make me co-host. Yeah.
Uh, just hold on. Oh my God. Okay. Looks like I am not so tech savvy after all.
Oh no, I got it now. I got it now. It's fine. You did something.
Really? I did.
It
I
worked. Yeah.
didn't do nothing.
Oh, all
Okay.
right. Can you see this?
Yes, please. Okay,
Okay.
fantastic.
So these are some products that we have. These are from my website. Brand new masks for the COVID situation. We have
For
a
the
lot of
current times, yeah.
yeah. So we have the Angry Maushi masks. We have the girl power masks. Socially Atmanirbhar. Atmanirbhar has become a very Indian, big catchphrase in India, which is self-sufficient, self-reliant. We have pop sockets. We have tote bags. And all eco-friendly. Earrings, these are a big hit in our catalog. People love these earrings. They go really fast.
They are
We have
wacky,
the
man.
we have the comics. We have the e-comics so that people can buy them without waiting for the courier to come in. Fridge
Okay,
magnets,
so all
a
of this
whole
is
lot more.
wow. Can you show us these? Can you show us the figures?
Yeah,
One,
I'll just zoom
at
into
least a
this one.
few.
Yeah, I'll just zoom into this one.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Yeah. So this is the Parsi Baba, and incidentally, today is the Parsi New Year. Navroz
Oh, okay.
Mubarak to all who are watching. If there's any,
Any of the Parsi
Parsi in the
friends?
audience, we have. Yeah. Navroz
Yeah.
Mubarak to you
Happy
all.
New Year to you
This
guys. Yeah.
is Happy New
How
Year.
thoughtful of
Yeah.
you.
So this is the Parsi Baba, who's very iconic in Mumbai because there are a lot of Irani cafes, and today they are shutting down because they can't go
You can't
on.
keep up.
But
Absolutely.
yeah. But these are some rare restaurants that are still around, and Parsi
Yeah.
Baba at the counter is a very iconic Mumbai thing to notice. Let me see what else I can.
If anybody does go to India, to Bombay, you must go to an Irani restaurant. Does it really mean Irani means from Iran, or they are just Parsis? But Parsis are from Iran. I'm
Yeah,
like losing it. Okay, so they.
yeah, they are.
I'm
They
learning a
had come
lot
in.
besides comics with Abhijeet right now. So Abhijeet, I
So
think
they
people
had
are just going to
actually.
think I'm so dumb. Like, what, dude, you don't know where they are from. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But definitely, you should go to these restaurants. They have some very fantastic puddings, chai, and
Yeah.
bun maska pav.
Ban Muska, exactly.
Oh
So
my
we have the
god,
traffic cop, the Havaldar, as we call him
the
here on the
traffic police.
street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the traffic police. Again, very very iconic. You can't not be in seeing.
Right.
When you're in Mumbai, these are these characters you'll notice. The
I
Panwala.
love.
This is another guy.
Yeah, I love the. But the panwala basically, right? So you
The
took their very
Panwala.
typical local outfit that they
Yeah,
usually wear. That's fantastic.
yeah.
And have a look at the guy on the first on your left when you go back out. So
One
this is
sec.
all made of
Yeah, the
ceramic,
turban
guys.
guy.
The question
These are
here is
all
Abhijit.
clay. These are all clay. Terracotta.
Sorry, the guy yes, this guy with the turban. So he's
Yeah.
Rajasthani, I believe.
He's a Rajasthani guy, and he's based
Woo,
on a
I know
character from
something.
a comic. Way to go, Yoran.
Thank you.
He's based on a comic we have called Ek Din Ka Hero, and
Uh-huh.
this is the guy. This is the inspiration. So what happens
So,
is
mhm.
we give the studio the comics and the 3D drawings of all angles, and then they sculpt it based on that.
So the question is like this: if someone is living in Romania, in Israel, in the
Yeah,
US, in the
yeah,
States, UK,
yeah.
can they order these figures abroad?
We have shipped some abroad,
Hmm.
but then shipping costs can go way higher. So what we tell people is if you want any of these orders, because from the website you can't place the order directly, you'll have
I
to
see.
contact us. You'll have to contact us via social media, and we can take care of the logistics.
And what about the comics? Do you need to be a member? Do you need to get a certain subscription in order to see your comics that are on your website or that you get released? Or
Yeah,
how does
so
that work?
so you can order them. I mean, you can buy them on the website itself. But again, I'm not sure if international cards do work, because this payment domain we have is largely for India specific payments only. However, these are available on Amazon as well.
Okay,
So
so
you can just look up Abhijeet Kini on Amazon. You'll get some of our comics listed there.
I I
And
would. Mhm.
Amazon.in. So you'll just have to change the in to Tom while the shipping
Okay,
happens.
let
I
me
mean,
try this.
there's a whole lot of things that are still to be figured out here. But the entire thing is shipping costs when you're shipping it out.
Arey, don't worry, yaar. People have dollars and pounds. Why are you worried about that? If they really love your work, they will take whatever it takes to get your stuff, right? The thing is that they need to know that there is such an
Yeah,
artist, there is such a creation,
yeah.
and that is what
And
I'm
which is why I
hoping
thank
to
you. Which
give
is
you.
why I thank you,
Oh, come
Yoran.
on, man. With all my heart, buddy. Trust me with all my heart. With all the ignorance that I have in my brain, with all my heart. So, so Abhijit, taking this a little ahead, and have you thought about reaching an international audience?
Well, reaching international audiences has happened. We have worked on projects in the past as well as currently. There is a restaurant chain from India called Honest,
Okay.
and they have a whole franchise. I mean, they have a whole lot of branches in the US. And so what happens is we do a lot of artworks for them, a lot of collectibles for them, which is reaching out to that audience as well.
Mm-hmm.
Through those, we do get a lot of other leads. I have worked on a few mascot design projects for some ad agencies in the past from San Francisco. So yeah, work has happened with the international audience in mind. However, yes, comics also would be something that I would love to try out for that audience, and let's see if that works out.
Okay. Okay. When you say mascots for some companies, what do you mean by that?
So there's a brand called, I mean, this is back in 2008-9.
Yes, please.
There was
Yeah,
a
sure.
brand called Sharky's Confectionery. It was like a chewy candy.
Okay.
And and
You know why I'm laughing, but go on.
I know exactly. I know exactly.
Chewy candy. Okay.
That's the national college when I was coming.
How to let go of my upbringing, tell me, from all these beautiful years in school and college, huh? When you come to India, you get this release of giving those slangs, you feel so, oh,
Yeah.
I'm home finally, kind of a thing. Please, I'm stopping you. Go ahead.
So yeah, so they wanted a mascot for their brand. It was called Sharkies, and they wanted a shark. And I think for some reason, for some post I had put up on some website, they had kind of contacted me from there and said, we want a shark illustration on the mascot. So that's something that I done. I don't know if it's still around. Let me see if I can Google that up. Sharky's candy.
Definitely look that up.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
there it
also give
is.
me a link to the Amazon.in if you have anything that
Yeah,
people can look
I'll do
into.
that.
And
I'll do that.
why is that you don't have international card payments? Is there a different fee
Yeah,
for it?
yeah. There is a different fee, and the providers that we have tied up with right now don't offer that.
I see. Okay.
Still
Quite
trying to figure
understandable.
out. Yeah, because on the indie scene, these are things that you need to take care of on directly. That's where it just gets a little difficult. But then we're
Okay,
getting there.
okay. Okay,
This is the mascot I was talking about.
oh, very nice. So this is, I see, I see. And this is your work basically?
Yeah, the shark and the little tortoise on his hand.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
turtle actually. Yeah, that's they both are mine, and
Very nice.
it's become a mascot. I mean, it becomes part of the logo. So I was
Mm-hmm.
pretty happy about that. It's one of the earliest international projects I'd done way back. I'm glad to see that it's still around on at
Amazing.
least
Keep at it,
Google.
man. Keep at
Thanks,
it.
man.
That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
That's really really good. So Abhijeet Kini on broadcast today with me. You ran a live. Any questions, queries that you would want to ask, feel free to write it in. Let's encourage him to reach out to the international audience as well, since he has such good artwork to share. Wouldn't you want that and just keep it to India? Of course, India has it right now. It should also go abroad. So, Abhijit, with the current times that we are going through, which unfortunately is pretty difficult for a few people, including me, as I lost my father, rest his soul.
Oh, okay.
How has that affected
So,
you? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. How is it? Has it
uh,
affected you? Is there any change in direction or change in business? Whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
well, business definitely had a little bit of an up and down right at the start because people didn't know what to do and what direction to take. But fortunately for us, there was some or the other avenue. I mean, we do a lot of workshops and we do a lot of offline and online
Mm-hmm.
tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
Those started working out much more, and now with Zoom calls and Zoom workshops, those have taken off very well.
Okay.
We've had clients who wanted to do some gifting based things to keep their you know employees happy. That's something that they wanted to do, and that's where we came in with our artworks and our printing. Comics on Amazon as well as our own website started selling because I think people were at home and they wanted stuff to read. So things started picking up.
Okay. Okay.
And personally for me, it was a weird one because I didn't know what to make of it. Neither does anyone else. I mean, we are all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
It has its fair share of anxieties. It has its fair share of ups and downs. But I think we
Right.
are just trying to stick together and manage to find
Of
a way out.
course. Of course. I'm glad things are going good for you, Abhijit. No matter what, may you always be successful and continue on this
Thanks,
journey.
man.
With
Thank
the
you.
fact,
Thank you.
with all that you are doing, I understood that you are giving time, and I understand that you're teaching, or you're giving some lectures as well. Is
Yes.
this so? Give us a little insight into how do you go about this? You also told me you're doing things through Zoom. So give us a picture
Yeah.
on this. How does it go?
So on Zoom for these educational institutions, what happens is these lectures that I take are on Zoom right now. So I am a visiting faculty at a couple of places, and I do teach, animation. I do teach comics for the animation batches at this place called Whistling Woods Filmmaking Institute. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I teach comics, sequential art, comics and reality. There are some really cool subjects there. So right now the lectures that I used to take in on campus are now on Zoom. Apart from that, there are workshops. So workshops are where I teach people basics of cartooning. If you don't know cartooning, you don't need to worry. You can just pick up a pencil and paper, which I will do right now and show you as well. How on a very basic level you can still create something, and just it becomes a good vent. People can
Mm-hmm.
express better. People can feel better once they start doodling, once they start drawing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then there are other courses I take online, like make your own comics, make your own. For Father's Day, we had something called, celebrate Father's Day with a father and child team, where father and child create a comic book, comic strip.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so these workshops are something that work really well and people enjoy. So
Mm-hmm.
we do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these. There's a website called insider.in on which we list these workshops, and international audiences also can subscribe to these workshops through there.
Do do
All you need to do is just follow me on Instagram, and you'll find all these links. As and when we do have these workshops, we advertise these there.
so your advertising for your advertisements for all your workshop are through Instagram.
Most of them, yes.
Why not through Facebook?
as in social media. I mean, when I say Instagram,
Okay. I know you
yeah.
said mostly through Instagram, so I was just thinking it's
No, no,
difficult to
no.
put a
No, so what happens is, I feel most of the, and by the way, Facebook and Instagram is one and the same today, basically. So
hey, one company.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So I say Insta, it's Facebook, everything put together. I also
I
use
see.
Twitter a lot. I also use Twitter a lot because there's
Mm-hmm.
that audience as well. So we get a
Okay,
lot of people
okay.
from Twitter joining in as well.
Right. Is there a particular fee for these art classes or
Yes.
the workshops? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, very, very nominal because these are 1 hour long and it's an extremely basic thing I do. So it can range from anywhere from 250 a ticket to about 350, 400 rupees. Very nominal,
Rupees. Okay. Mm-hmm.
rupees, Indian rupees. And the longer format ones, of course, are more expensive, like about 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. That's like multiple sessions, not just one.
So
So it
what is
depends
the
on
go on?
so it depends on what I am talking about or what I am teaching in that particular workshop, and that's how the pricing also comes to.
So do you have a link of your next session coming up?
Right now, I still have to schedule one for Insider, but there is one for a website called Bound India, and Bound
Mm-hmm.
India has two workshops coming up uh, in this month. One
Mm-hmm.
for kids and one for adults,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I am taking the comics, the comics modules.
Now, if anybody wants to know when these links are coming up, they need to follow you
Yeah.
on your Abhijeet Kini profile or Abhijeet Kini Studios.
Studios,
Studios. Okay, so I'll
studios,
put
and
that
if
link
it's
there. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and if it's Instagram, it is Kini Studios.
Okay,
I'll just put this up on chat right here.
definitely. So I'm just writing this down for people that are following in. If they want to join a particular workshop,
Yeah,
definitely look into this link. Upcoming workshops. That's fantastic. That's really cool.
and I will
Okay,
also
and I
put in
will
my
also share the
website,
link. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I put the Amazon link as well, all right on top.
I did share that. Yeah, I did share that on the broadcast. So people, I'm with Abhijeet Kini from Mumbai, India, an old friend, a comic illustrator, and also a writer. He's also giving sessions. If you have any kind of question that you would like to ask him, definitely do that on the live chat from your Ran Alive broadcast from the page, and Abhijeet will take it up because I will reach it out to him. Not a problem regarding that. So Abhijeet, what can I say? Tell us, make us do some artwork. What do you say?
Let's go for it.
Um,
I'm just sharing my screen with my Photoshop on,
okay.
and folks who are ready with pencils, papers can just start, doodling what the way we go about it. Are you
I
ready,
got my
Oran?
paper ready, so I hope I don't
Nice.
know. People I don't think can see right now. People can only see your screen, so that's fantastic. Let's just hold on a second. I want to see we can if people can see the whole screen or they can still see us on the top. I'm not really sure. Um,
That's fine. That's fine. I'll
this
be
is
talking
very
them through
interesting.
this.
Sorry,
I'll
Avi.
be talking them through this. I'll talk them through this. So that's no
my
problem.
my question to you is when you are I was expecting you to take a pen and paper, but I see you're doing it through the computer. That's fantastic. So you have different sessions for digital and physical. I don't know
Because
how would I
because
put that.
yeah, because when it's on Zoom, it's better if I'm doing it digitally. It's
This
easier to
is
share screen and yeah. But then when it's a physical workshop, right, where we do it at various venues. In fact, we do a lot of workshops at our own home. That's where I have sheets of paper or the
mm-hmm,
whiteboard or something.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The organic way.
Okay, okay. And okay, I wanted to ask you something, but I kind of lost. So one of my friends was saying, with all that you are doing, she was saying, she hopes that you have time for your wife. What do you have to comment on that?
That's a good question. But then you know what? Both of us running the same studio together, we're both happy spending the time together, working as well as together not working as well. So because
That is great.
uh, either way we are together. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so and Abhijeet, for the digital, what are you using? Just a mouse, or you have a specific tool that or specific hardware that you're using for this?
So I have something called the Wacom tablet. This is the Wacom tablet I use. It's like an electronic slate. I mean, to put it in a very basic way, and
Okay.
comes with a digital pen. So when you draw over it, it's like drawing on paper, but only difference is there's no paper. The rest of it is all your own effort. People think that if it's digital art, it's easier. Well, it's not. You're still drawing with a pen, and you're still using your handiwork on it. Um, it's just that you don't have to use paper and scan it. You directly get it on Photoshop.
I see. I see. Okay, cool. Abhijeet, go ahead. Let's get sketchy.
All right, awesome. So what I tell people is, you don't really need to know much of art or cartoons to get started. It's all a bunch of different shapes. So for example, we have the square, we have the circle, we have a triangle. These shapes actually stand for characteristics of a person. These shapes actually stand for kind of people we know, because if you actually think about it, different people we know have different face shapes, and we associate shapes to different personalities. Like for example, when you talk about a square face, like a tough jaw and all, what do you first think of?
Sorry, I lost you at the last part.
So when you have a square shape, of a face, and you have like a tough looking jaw, what's the first thing of a person you think of? A strong man?
Think of or a
Yeah.
personality?
What kind of a personality?
I suppose a very rigid person.
Rigid?
Very rigid, stern,
Yeah.
firm,
Yeah.
businessman, money-minded. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. That's exactly what we do when we actually make faces out of shapes. So each shape gives out a vibe. Okay. So what we're going to do is I add expressions to a shape. It automatically becomes something like a base for a character.
Wait. This is impressive. I'm just impressed with these few strokes. Tell me, did you study? Did you study this somewhere, or this is
No,
just
I am completely self-taught.
I am amazed. Please go ahead. Wow, that was like.
Now when it comes, thanks, man. So when it comes to the circle, and this is something that we've seen a lot in Disney, Walt Disney movies, Walt Disney cartoons. The comic relief or the cuter characters, they will always be in a round shape. They will never be shown in a very rigid, sharp features or anything. They'll be cute. So it's always seen most of the times that the round face shapes are the cuter ones. So it automatically gives out that cute vibe. So we will also use relatively smoother lines, relatively softer features.
So depending on the shape that you're drawing in, you also choose the kind of shapes that you're putting inside the.
Correct. And this is how most of the times we make characters come alive, at least for a rough way of designing characters, knowing the face shape and designing them. So if you are drawing along, you can try something like this yourself, where you're drawing a square shape,
Yeah.
and you can still do it with very very basic features. Something like this, that will also do.
Okay.
But if the triangular faces,
Are you on purpose making the person in the square angry, or make him look stern? Can he?
no. So
Still
what
look
we
happy, or he wouldn't?
he
Look
can
happy
he can. But my favorite rendition of square faces is something like this.
Okay.
Because whenever you show macho people in animations or comics, they always square shaped like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
They will also have a thick neck. Get to the chopper.
Get the chopper. What's your daddy and what does he do?
So square shapes give out a lot of these kind of personalities. The triangular ones, however, are very extreme. They are the ones that Disney uses for villains. If you remember Disney villains, they'll always have sharp chins, sharp noses.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So what they do is this most of the times will be the villain face.
Okay.
They'll give
Uh-huh,
sharp ears.
uh-huh.
If you remember most of the Disney classics, they'll always have these sharp features for villains.
Mm.
And at the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because they feel that the pointier the shape, the more hurt it can cause. Get it?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So that is the entire idea here.
I see, I see.
So when you draw faces, when you draw shapes like these, there's always something like shapes defining the characteristic. Like here, if I have to draw something out of the ordinary, without any roughs in place, and if I have to, you know,
How comfortable are you with Wacom, by the way? I see you're like
very.
flowing with it like it's like pen on paper. Wow, amazing.
It's been a good 16 years I've been using the Acom tablet, so I've kind of gotten used to it now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Awesome. Wow.
So when I draw a face, it automatically kind of results in some use of shapes. Like for example, here it's circular chin,
Okay.
whereas here it's a lot more squarer.
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
can be a combination of everything. The nose is sharp. It can be a combination, but what happens is
Okay.
most of the times you need to keep in mind that a particular face looks a particular way, and generally in animation and comics, shapes define the characteristic. So, quick exercise for anyone who wants to try this out is you can always make a bunch of different shapes, multiple squares, multiple circles, etc., etc. And whenever you have free time, whenever you want to do something, try to give it expressions. The best example is the emojis on your phone. You can always look at the emojis and kind of give each face an expression. And you can always go with dotted eyes as well. Dotted eyes give it a cuter look.
Mm-hmm.
I've not drawn the entire circle. You see the difference here and see the difference here.
Right.
Just the dots. It gives a completely different look to it.
It's
Uh,
very simple as well. I mean, it's not very
very simple.
elaborate.
Correct.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just giving it expressions gives a lot of it's a good fun angle to create characters for people who don't have an idea of drawing. It's never too late to get into drawing. You can always maintain a little diary and to have a bunch of doodles that you can do, and that by the end of it you'll have a good bunch of various characters that you've created.
Right, right.
And not just that, I tell people, that you don't need to draw only faces. You can just look around and draw stuff around you. Like you just go outside, and if you find a tree, in your neighborhood that looks interesting, you just draw it out. Just doodle it. You don't need to give it any details. Just doodle it. If there's a
Okay.
car parked, just draw the car. It's okay if it's not really detailed. But what happens is your observation skills get better. If
Mm-hmm.
there's a lamp post, you'll know exactly where the lamp post is. If there's a dog sitting and looking at something, just draw the dog.
Okay.
So what
Wow.
happens is your observational skills get better. You start observing things better. You retain images better in your mind, and that's when drawing skills get much better. So I tell people to draw people. I tell you don't need to tell people that you're drawing them. You just look at them and you just draw them like this.
Mm-hmm.
These are called action strokes.
Wow,
They
this is
don't re- they don't really look like much, but then you will come to know what this person is doing by just looking at the rough sketch.
he's looking at Abhijeet Kini's comics. I think. I don't know. What is in his hand? Wow. How does he do it? No.
So these are called action sketches, and it's always a good practice for people to do these. They don't require any detail, but you need
Actually,
to
you're right.
understand where. Yeah, you just need to understand where the head is and where the spine is bending and where the hands are. So
Now,
you
why?
should need
Mm-hmm.
you should know exactly anatomically where the hand starts and the hip ends or whatever it might be. A little bit of study there, and I think these sketches would be very easy for someone to try out.
Right, right.
So these are things that I tell people to keep doing when they're free or if they want to try their hand at art. Like I don't know, the easiest thing they can do is this: the expressions.
Right. Yeah, actually.
And then, of course, for further workshops, I teach them coloring. Coloring is a different ball game altogether. When you have
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
that needs coloring, how do you do it? And you draw superheroes and color them. That's a different thing altogether. Uh, I love drawing Batman. I love drawing like a funny version of Batman. I love coloring Batman. So I teach them how I actually distort superheroes the Mad Magazine way.
Wow. It's just so unique. I mean, you don't need to. And I'm just thinking, someone else being right now trying what you are doing, and I hope somebody is just like I did. I don't know if anybody can even see what I did, but it's because right now we are sharing screen. But it's like it has to be your version of it, and you don't. I
Exactly.
think even me, what you tend to do is you want it to look like what you saw. It's not your own creation. You
No.
want it to look like what you see, and then you say, it's not good. But here I'm seeing it's like, well, what? I don't care. This is my Batman. I don't
This
care.
is my Batman. This is mine.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it kind of gives you a little license to try some things out,
Put
and
a mustache. Put a mustache for him. The Indian mustache. I mean, that'll look like so personal, man.
let me try that. Let me try that.
You should. Or even yeah. That's like amazing. Yeah, the Indian Batman to the rescue. Wow. This is amazing. Oh, he's put even the beer stuffs and it's amazing, Abhijit. Wow. Very nice. I'm totally enjoying this session, man. I mean, just watching you do this. It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
you let me know if I might just get carried away and go on drawing this guy, but you just let me know when.
So tell me, while you are doing that, also give us some information about. I mean, you spoke about help. I mean, you're helping people with through these workshops
Yeah.
that are helping express. That is helping them express their feelings. Now, how is there any way how is it really helping them? Have you? I mean, tell us how does it work out?
Well, what happens is a lot of times these people later put up their posts on Facebook or Instagram and say, hey, you know what, I never knew how to draw, but then here I am drawing something. I learned something new in the lockdown, and I can express better. So someone actually gifted a sketched card to, I think, her mother or I don't know who it was for, but she
Mm-hmm.
sketched it herself, and I think that was very beautiful because this girl could not sketch earlier, and then after the workshop, she was able to do something for her parent, and gift, for the birthday. I
Uh-huh.
think that was a
Uh-huh.
very sweet thing they could do, and if I could help them understand that there's so much they can try out on their own. That to me is special. That to me is something that I would love to keep sharing with people and
Mm-hmm.
get them to create more stuff. And of course, during the lockdown, it's a frustrating time for all. So instead of just waiting for things to happen, you can always go back to literally the drawing board and create stuff on your own.
Yeah.
That makes it more interesting, and it wins out. That's my biggest thing. I mean, for artists themselves, it's a thing where you need to vent your thoughts and creativity. So when it comes to another person who's not into art and they want
Mm-hmm.
to get creative, something like this will help.
Wow. So Nikhil Kamath, I don't know if he's your friend. He's saying he's drawing along with you. So Nikhil, thanks for sharing
He's
that. We totally appreciate it. And thanks for even joining in. Um,
Nikhil is my cousin brother and an extremely talented guy from Delhi. So glad he
uh-huh.
could join in. I think most of my family has tuned in right now.
Are they? So
I've
namaste
just
to everybody. Thanks. Go on. Sorry, I stopped you.
yeah. So, and he has come with us to Comic Cons. He has actually helped co-write a couple of books for us. He is a
Oh,
writer himself. So yeah. So I think he knows most of the conversations I've been having. But it's nice to have him draw as well. Thanks,
yeah.
Nikhil.
That's really cool, man. That's really cool. So my question here is like this, right? I mean, what about somebody who wants to go digital but does not have the possibility to buy Photoshop? Because I see that you're using Photoshop, and
Yeah.
Photoshop doesn't come with a small price. So, is
No,
there any
it's a monthly cloud-based payment now,
right? And
as opposed to
how much is the
earlier.
payment in India for the moment for an
I'm paying
individual?
around 900 odd rupees for Photoshop and Lightroom only. I have not got the entire suite because Photoshop is largely the only software I'm using. But they
Right,
have a lot
right.
of other combinations, and
Mm-hmm.
so what I need, that's the only thing I use. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I just draw on paper, scan, and color it digitally.
So what
So
about? Mm-hmm. Go on, please.
yeah, so Photoshop is expensive. I mean, you will pay a price for it. If someone is not comfortable buying it, I would say just practice on paper. It's fine because uh, if you have a tablet, like an iPad or any tablet, you can also download Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. Is it? It's a free app, and you
How do
can
you
use
call it?
the Autodesk
Autodesk
Sketchbook.
Sketchbook. Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
trying.
yeah,
I'm gonna have a look at the link and just post it for
yeah,
people that are out
yeah,
there
yeah,
and maybe
yeah,
want it.
yeah.
Okay, I can see it here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because on Photoshop, sorry, on iOS you have something called Procreate. Procreate is an amazing app, and it allows you to even record your artworks. It plays out like a movie once you finish sketching it. So it becomes a great way of a good way of showing a tutorial as well. To people. I use it a lot. So if not Photoshop, you have these apps as well.
So the app you said is Procreate on iOS.
Procreate on iOS. I think Procreate is also there on Android. I use
Mm-hmm.
the iPad, so I'm not really sure about the Android ecosystem. But then I think it is there.
I see. I see.
It's a
Okay.
paid app, but it's a one-time payment, some 700 or 800 bucks, I think. But it's worth it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you
So
really
so
created
here's
something back there.
yeah. So here's a Desi Batman.
Amazing.
Wait, I'll
Uh,
just
and Neha Kamath, I don't know who is Neha.
that's my sister. That's my
So she's
sister.
giving you a thumbs up. So Neha, thanks for tuning in. Very nice of you. I would suggest for the family, if you all are enjoying the broadcast or you didn't enjoy the broadcast, because we'll be here for another couple of minutes. I think we're almost out of time. Uh, do share the video with your family, friends, relatives, enemies as well. You never know. Yeah. And get Abhijeet's word out there all across the globe so that we can promote his and that he grows. I just love what he's doing. This is
Thanks,
fantastic
man.
for your, and that's really cool, man. Abhijeet, that's really really sweet. I totally appreciate that. With the signature, man, I didn't need to even ask for the autograph. It's already out there. Um, if you can send me this, I would
Yeah, I
totally
will.
appreciate
I
that.
will.
I
I
would
will
totally
be. I
like
will be
that.
sending. Totally.
Wow, amazing. Great. So Abhijit, thank you. I don't know. I don't know what else to ask. I'm really impressed. If people have any kind of questions for Abhijit, don't forget that he is tagged on the broadcast. You can also go to the event. I have his studio as well as .com pages. Definitely look at them. Look into the merchandises just in case if you want something funny that should be up at your table or at home as a display. Abhijit, any final words for people or any words that you or wisdom that you would like to share for people that want to get into sketching and as you just gave us a few lines of sketching over here, any words of wisdom for them?
I think it's just about not letting go. You need to practice. You need to just kind of keep doodling. It's okay if you are worried about taking this up as your main profession, because it's definitely not something that is a safe bet right at the get go. But just don't let go. You can always have it as a parallel thing running, and one fine day, if you realize that you're really good at it, take that big jump. But my message also goes out to parents,
Mm-hmm.
who kind of feel that the child should not waste time drawing and should study more, etc., etc. That's a wrong way of seeing it. I think the parents should encourage any kind of talent, not just art. It can be anything in music, it can be anything in acting, it can be
Right.
anything in sports, whatever it might be. Encourage them and see where it goes, because today times are different. It's no longer about the age old uh, career paths. Now there are so many new ones. So that's my advice.
Totally appreciate that. Fantastic. So, people, if you all are still keen, and I'm sure you are, you know exactly how to reach out to Abhijeet. If not, definitely come through me, through the page you ran alive. And I will see that I redirect you to the talented and wonderful, kind hearted Abhijeet Kini from Mumbai, India. So, Abhijeet,
Thanks,
thank you
man.
so much. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming to the show and making a fantastic session. I totally enjoyed this. Till
I'm
next
glad, and
time.
I'm happy you had me here, and I'm happy to be part of this. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and
I
yeah, that's awesome.
I don't think you could see it because it's really small from here, but yeah, I was kind of giving a hand at it. I do sketches,
Nice.
by the way. I do abstract sketching. Maybe but it's abstract. I never took it anywhere further, but yeah. So thanks for the compliments. And so you were saying, I stopped you again. So if you had
No, no,
anything.
no. No, it was a big thanks to you, because always nice to reconnect. A, B is that you're having a lot of very, very good conversations on this channel that you have, and I think this is something that I think we all will look forward to and learn so much more from other people who will be on the show next.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good
Absolutely.
work, yeah.
Abhijit, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. I totally believe that everybody knows something that you don't know. And I'm telling you more, even besides comic and besides sketching a comic figure, I learned so many other things on this show with you. So I I am totally appreciative of that, and I'm
Thanks,
hoping
Yaran.
to keep at it as well. So Abhijit, have a great night, a great week ahead. My
Thank
love
you
to your
so much.
family, and I hope
Thank
that we
you.
catch up when I come next time to Mumbai.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic, buddy. So have a great
All the
night
best.
and
Thank
to
you. You
everybody
too.
there. And see you soon. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.